welcome to AWANI Global. I'm your host Farhana Sheikh, and today we are honored to have with us a key figure in Azerbaijan's diplomatic affairs, His Excellency Fuad Muradov, the chairman of Azerbaijan's State Committee on Affairs with Diaspora. He'll be sharing valuable insights on some key global issues, including Azerbaijan's growing relationship with ASEAN, the country's leadership role at COP29, the shifting global geopolitical landscape, as well as the pursuit of peace in the South Caucasus. Thank you so much for joining us, Your Excellency. We're truly honored to have you here.
Thank you for inviting.
Right. Let's get straight into it because we do have a list of questions we would like to get your answers and get your take on. Let's first start with Azerbaijan and ASEAN relations. How do you see, especially with Malaysia taking over the chairmanship of ASEAN next year, 2025, how do you see Azerbaijan strengthening its diplomatic and economic ties with ASEAN countries, particularly in light of shared interests such as energy, trade, or even cultural exchanges?
Thank you very much for this question. The cooperation between Azerbaijan and Malaysia, in particular in the different international platforms like ASEAN, is crucial for us. I would like to shortly inform you about the purpose of my visit to Malaysia, to this beautiful country.
Right.
We had a lot of different culture programs with Malaysia, and one of this program is educational program, if I may say like that. So we are support to translate one of the famous writers of Azerbaijan to Malay language.
Right.
And we are going tomorrow present this book to audience here. And also we are planning to meet with our Azerbaijani community living here, but not only in Malaysia, but we also invite our community from Cambodia, Vietnam, and Thailand. And this Azerbaijani community going to meet together and discuss the future plans, what they want to do together. And of course, the Malaysia and Azerbaijan has very strong relations, and year by year, we see the more development in these relations. Just recently, we celebrate 30 years of our establishing of our diplomatic relations. The main officials from the Minister of Foreign Affairs visit and discuss the future plans together with Malaysia. And among these future plans is, of course, cooperation with the ASEAN as an international organization, but also in the bilateral level. I would like to say you that, first of all, it's a good chance for Azerbaijan and Malaysia in terms of cooperation in ASEAN, because you became a chair in this organization. And just recently we had mandate of our parliament of Milli Majlis, it's called Milli Majlis, to become observed in the ASEAN Interparliamentary Union, which is very important for us. I think this is one of the first steps in this direction. But also we had always exchange of the information between the Secretary General of the ASEAN organization and the Azerbaijani officials in terms of the future cooperation, because Azerbaijan is located in the ancient Silk Way, and that's a good opportunity for the future cooperation. That's why I strongly believe that it's not only economy, but it's also about the culture. It's about supporting each other in different international platforms like OIC, Organization for Islamic Cooperation, non-aligned movement, where the Malaysia and Azerbaijan were very active. And one small example about the cooperation. During our chairmanship in NAM, Azerbaijan declared that they will do special program for the young people, the scholarship for the young people to come and study in Azerbaijan. And this year we have 2 Malaysian young person who came to Azerbaijan using this scholarship. And we hope that it will continue and we have more Malaysian young people come to Azerbaijan for education. That's why these examples allow us to go further. We have very active embassies here in Kuala Lumpur and in Baku. And I strongly believe that through our cooperation, we can achieve a lot of results in near future. Because I saw in Malaysia how you are fast developed in terms of economy, in terms of the culture, in terms of the relation with other neighboring states. And I strongly believe that Malaysia have a big potential, not only in the frame of ASEAN organization, but also in frame of the United Nations, Non-Aligned Movement, OIC, and I believe that there are a good perspective for our future cooperation.
Right. I mean, I love how you highlight, you know, we've reached a 30-year diplomatic relation with each other, and there's so many potential avenues that we will explore. You mentioned education, cultural exchanges, even trade just now a little bit. So I guess that brings to my second question, which is a bit more Malaysia skewed. You know, we've been a significant partner to each other, Azerbaijan and Malaysia. Do you foresee any avenues of collaboration further as opposed to what we already have right now? Any new areas to explore?
Very good question. Because the one thing, this is the diplomatic relations, which is very important, and actually this is the starting point.
Right.
And other things also coming to this point that ministries and intergovernment relations very high level. For that years, we have 2 visits of the Prime Minister of Malaysia to Azerbaijan, visit of the 2 times speakers visit Malaysia. And what I want to say, Speaker of Parliament, and what I want to say that today we have a lot of areas where we actually start our cooperation. This is the education, this is tourism, this is economy, this is the social dimension, and all these preparations are already in the way that can be signed between the 2 governments, and I know that there are discussion about these memorandums, and during my meeting with the Higher Education Ministry, we discussed the future cooperation in this field. During the meeting with the Senate and the Parliament of Malaysia, we discussed that how we can facilitate and how we can help for implementation of these future agreements, but also in agriculture. So I saw how you are interested in this field, but also in renewables, also in energy, because Azerbaijan became one of the champions in the diversification of the energy sources, and also in renewables in our region. And the vivid example of that, it's COP29, the Conference of Parties, which will be in November, and we hope to have very solid delegation from Malaysia, and we pass this invitation also to the ASEAN Secretary General, and I think they join us to this event. It will be one of the biggest events in history of our country. We are preparing in very fast manner, and we have almost prepared everything, and that's why the participation of the friends in this event, like Malaysia, is very important and motivate us to work in this direction. So renewable, green energy, and in general the agriculture, tourism, education. And yesterday during my meetings in the Senate, I heard that you also have your space program,
yes.
the satellite, so I congratulated with you. Azerbaijan started this program about 5-6 years ago, and we have satellite, Azerspace it's called. So, and they asked me the question how we can cooperate, and of course I pass all this message to our relevant ministries that the Malaysia is ready to cooperate in this field. So there are really so many dimensions that we can work together, because culturally, regionally, so we have a lot of common things for future cooperation, and also the young generation. So we need to prepare them for leading this way, which we start, which your leadership start, our leadership start. President Ilham Aliyev pays special attention to this country, and we always rely on you, because in all our political activities time, we feel support from the Malaysia. Either it's in UN Security Council resolution, during the war, which we have in 2020, when we succeed to liberate our territory, and we feel this strong support from Malaysia. And the same from our side. We always, in the international level, in the level of the bilateral relations, we always support Malaysia, and I think this process will continue. And also, I would like to highlight that there are a lot of the opportunity for economic development. We talk about tourism also, and I know that there are big potential to come to Azerbaijan, to see Azerbaijan, and also to come to Malaysia. You have beautiful geography. I think it's one of the good geography in this region. So that's why there are a lot of points for cooperation, and I hope we will sign these documents soon.
Right. I mean, I love how there's already a foundation with, you know, small meetings, bilateral meetings between Malaysia and Azerbaijan, either state officials or you yourself, to set up foundation for these potential areas of collaboration. And I also would like to applaud you when you mentioned youth just now, because I understand you personally have championed youth in your work with Diaspora, as well as, you know, regional programs in Azerbaijan as well. And I do hope those sentiments of championing youth can also translate with our bilateral relations. So yes, you mentioned COP29 just now, which is a very anticipated event for this year, and Azerbaijan, you know, taking the leadership this year. So what is the key goals that Azerbaijan is looking to bring in this global conversation on climate change? You know, especially if you look at matters such as climate finance, or even, you know, the new collective quantified goal, for example. What are Azerbaijan's aspirations and goals for this COP29?
Yes, the COP29, this is one of the best examples to show first what country do in this direction, what kind of programs we can present to the world, being an oil and gas country, so we responsible partners for all environmental projects which leading by United Nations and other structure of UN. Plus, this is not new for us. We always for renewables, for green energy, and for that reason, for last 10 years, we invest a lot for the green energy, for the wind, solar, geothermal, and we want to show this to the world that Azerbaijan, a responsible partner for elimination the carbon pollution, for elimination the in general production in this direction. That's why I think it will be a good chance for Azerbaijan to show how the oil and the gas country can contribute to the our future. And by the way, this year the President Aliyev declared at the year of green energy for the future. So that's why this is very important for us to implement the projects, not only during the COP or before the COP, but this is our state policy, which is the really benefit for the future generation, because we all consumer. So, but we need to think about the future, and that's why COP29 will be a good chance, not only for participants of this high-level meetings, but also for the big corporation, big companies who actually should be more active in this direction. Azerbaijan, as a responsible member of the global community, always care about the future of the world, future of our green world, and that's why we have very interesting topic there, which is particularly interesting for our part of the world, which actually Malaysia also there. Right. So that's why you mentioned about the our young people. So the COP29 and any other big events which is related to the future, this is about the young people. This is about the future generation, because we need to be more responsible and keep our land safe, green for the future generation. And coming back to our diaspora, it's very important you mentioned about the education program, because in the core of this process, this is education. Right. This is environmental education, this is the green education, this is renewable education, which is now very popular. And I saw here in Kuala Lumpur, in Malaysia in general, that I visit a couple of the big libraries, and everywhere I see the path of the renewable energy, of the recycling production. So that's bravo for that. So I think it's very important that for the young generation, for the kids, that they care about lands in the future. And also our diaspora, it's living about the 70 countries worldwide. We have 30 Azerbaijani house where they can have this education program. It's Azerbaijani language, culture, but also the good bridge between Azerbaijan and the local community, culture bridge, which we are trying to support. Every year we implement about the 400 projects, and most of them, this is the education program.
Right. I mean, it's good that, you know, on the local level, we have this sort of programs, small recycling programs, for example, small awareness program, but at the higher level, we have COP29, where we are having, experts, all important stakeholders to talk about what it takes to actually meet all those climate action goals that we try to do so every year. And it's good to have this yearly reminder about, what impact of climate change will have to all of us. Right. I'm interested to know, because Azerbaijan obviously has been known for its energy resources and has made also significant stride in renewable energy sector. How does the country actually plan to balance its fossil fuel industry with its commitment to sustainable development and also renewable energy goals at COP29?
Yes, as I mentioned, that this is our state policy. It's not only because of COP29, but because we are from the beginning seeing that first, diversification. The second, we try to invest more to the renewable and the green energy. And that's why from the first years of oil and gas exploration, we pay more attention to this subject. For that reason, we had a lot of projects which is now on the process, and some of them already in the very high production level. It's wind energy, it's solar energy, and we have a lot of investment to that. But not only this. So in our universities, we have the special faculties who actually teach young people about the green energy, about the renewable energy, because this is the fact that Azerbaijan, one of the first in the world who actually start onshore oil production. And we have tradition of oil and gas production. It's not so big, but we have this tradition. So that's why it's not only shift in the, let's say, in the life of the people, but also it's shift of the mind of the people.
Right.
So we try to teach them, we try to explain them that why it's important to invest to the green energy. But for that reason, it's not only understanding, but it should be also skills, because every serious technology, which is the actually green technology, comes with the skills and education. That's why we invest a lot for education of these future specialists.
Right.
For example, as a Diaspora committee, every year we have forum of engineers from Europe. So we gather them together because there are a lot of new technologies in the West and green technologies in the West as well. And we trying to see what kind of contribution these specialists, these engineers can do for Azerbaijan. So that's why our role is bring this expertise from these countries, and a lot of Azerbaijan engineers who actually study and working outside of Azerbaijan now in the COP29, they come with the ideas, they come with the experience, and as a Diaspora committee we support the activities in this field.
I mean, the emphasis on skills is very timely and very pertinent, I think, because these are the people who would drive all the climate goals, who would drive all the climate action, and starting with education and making sure that you have the capability to actually implement these goals requires, the kind of investment that Azerbaijan's, committee are putting in. And we hope that Malaysia can also learn with its best practices. Right. We're circling back a little bit on geopolitical shift in the world right now. The global geopolitical landscape right now is increasingly shifting towards a multipolar world. How is Azerbaijan positioning itself as a middle power in this new global order, especially, in the Eurasian region?
Yes, you put the question absolutely perfect. In terms of the global security, in terms of the international relations, the stability is factor number one. And unfortunately, for the more than 30 years, the 20% of Azerbaijan territory were under occupation of Armenia. And in 2020, we succeed to liberate our territories, and we start to rebuild it because it was totally destroyed. We had zero problem policy with our neighbor. So we always behave like that until the moment when they start
overstep the boundary.
Yes. So that's why if we talk about the global perspective for the Eurasia, which Azerbaijan is a part, because we are partly in Europe and partly in Asia. So that's actually benefit of our geography. But it's also a lot of risk a lot of instability in our region. For that reason, Azerbaijan always be a reliable partner. We always keep our promise. We always respect to any documentation we sign, or bilateral, even in the frame of the United Nations Security Council. And this continue now. Of course, it's not easy time for our region. We are ready for the signed peace agreement between Armenia and Azerbaijan. Maybe it will be interesting for your audience that for more than 30 years this land was under occupation, and we had a lot of mediator in this process, like OIC, like other international organizations, but it's come with zero results. That's why Azerbaijani brave army liberate our territory, and Azerbaijan is the key factor in the region because we have biggest GDP in the region, we have a lot of sources, we had multicultural society where the all religion can live and coexist together. So that's why on the behalf of Azerbaijani government, we're trying to keep the stability, security in the region. It's not easy because you just rightly mentioned about the different factors which actually are around us. But I think that for the stability, for the prosperity, you need to act more responsible in this direction, and which Azerbaijan is doing. And we continue to work in this direction together with our international partners, with international communities, and among these countries, of course, is Malaysia, which has also have crucial role. And in the history of Malaysia, you have also big problems in the history of your country, but you succeed to become independent, you succeed to be strong, and that's why I think we have a lot of common in this direction.
Right. I mean, definitely. I mean, just talking about, for example, the non-aligned movement and also ASEAN's sort of firm commitment to neutrality, for example. You know, if we sort of align those two principles together, I do see the sort of similarity Azerbaijan and ASEAN or Malaysia have in terms of the way we see our interests when it comes to the shifting global political landscape. So that's definitely a similarity and a common space for us to share and discuss more. I think we have room for one more question. I think you addressed sort of the recent development with regards to the Nagorno-Karabakh region just now, as well as reconstruction and reconciliation efforts in the South Caucasus. So I guess my final questions would be, what role do you envision for Azerbaijan in leading regional efforts for peace, security, and also economic cooperation in the South Caucasus, especially considering its growing global influence?
Thank you. Thank you for mentioning the important role of Azerbaijan in the region. So this has come also from the figures which World Bank always announce. Yes, in terms of geography, as I mentioned before, we located on the ancient Silkway. Plus, we had a very good chance to connect one part of the world with another part of the world. For that reason, we had some instruments. For example, in the marine port, we have free tax zone, economical zone, where the goods can come from Asia through Azerbaijan, through our region, and going further through Turkey to Europe and some other places. For that reason, we now work very hard on the Middle Corridor project, and we are trying to connect all the necessary logistics for that. And of course, the role of Malaysia will be very important for us, because as a member of non-aligned movement, member of the ASEAN, which is actually unite a lot of important and geographically good located countries, we believe that this project come with success. And also, you mentioned about the Karabakh region. It was one of the instability dot in our region, but now it's solved. And after that, of course, we're ready for the broader cooperation with all our neighbors, and we are ready for that. We declare every time that we have a lot of new projects for the future, including energy project, economy project, the logistical project, and for that project, all the countries in our region should be and must be part of this, because with that we have more perspective for the future cooperation in global level, because we always talk about the global perspective. So every country, when play a role in the global stability, first should start from its region. As ASEAN actually doing very well, and I hope and I'm sure that it will succeed. In near future, we will see the benefit of this geography and economical platforms.
Well, I'm very hopeful hearing the sort of investment, consideration, commitment that Azerbaijan has in store for not just within its region, but also cooperation with ASEAN and Malaysia, and the kind of ties that will strengthen in the near future, as well as the leadership at COP29 that we are all looking forward to attend, hopefully. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for your time. That's all the time we have for AWANI Global. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Farhana Sheikh. Thank you so much.